Welcome back, everyone, to the front line with Joe Pasillo, and Joe Resinello. And once more, let us go into the breach. Joe, it's Miss Philippine here. She's going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's play what she said and the question, and then we're going to come back because we got to talk about this.
You are super gorgeous. So my question is, trans women athletes are now being allowed to compete in women's sports events in many international competitions. Do you think that this is a step in the right direction? Why or why not?
I am all for equality with all genders, and I believe that we have the right to participate in any sports. However, I believe that there's a biological reason that we should not allow trans women in the women category, because I believe that there's a right time for that and there's right measurements to be done. Thank you.
Yeah, Joe, I just got to hand it over to you. That chick's in trouble. That chick is in trouble.
Good for her.
Well, that's what I said. You want to deny biology? That's all we've heard our whole lives. Are you Catholics? You're just superstitious. You want to hold to the church's teaching. On what, biology? That men are men and women are women? That's a biological statement. That's not a statement of faith. That's not like saying I believe Jesus Christ was raised from the dead. To say that a man's a man and a woman is a woman, that's a scientific fact. And these people try to peddle science. This woman, using common sense, said, look, I don't want to take away anybody's rights, but there's a line to be drawn. And Joe, that's what I want you to talk about. There are no more lines anymore, not at least to any that our enemies are going to allow.
She didn't figure it out. You can't say I believe, because what you believe doesn't matter. You see, She didn't figure that out. If you want to play the game, you have to put your beliefs aside. What she said is right. It's scientific. It's biological, she said, to use her words, because it is.
Right.
But you can't say that, or you can't say I believe. Can't do that. And to be honest with you, you have to be willing to not get invited to the party. So maybe she loses. So what? You see, that's kind of the attitude that people have to say. So what?
Right.
Then you don't like me because I'm going to say the truth, because I'm going to stand by science, because I'm going to stand by my religion. I'm sorry, I can't help you there.
Well, look at what happened to that hockey player. What was it?
Yeah, on the Flyers, he was like Russian Orthodox.
Yeah, he's Russian Orthodox. He's not wearing a rainbow flag. Sorry, fellas, I'm not wearing a rainbow flag. That's, basically is what he was saying. I'm not going to do the pregame wearing a rainbow flag. I'm a man, for heaven's sake. I'm not wearing a rainbow flag. I'm also a religious man, a Christian. I don't agree with that, and I'm not wearing it.
But here's the thing, and this is where people have to be willing to say, you don't want me to do that, then I'll do something else.
Well, but I want to ask you something. There was a really annoying commentator, a Canadian. When we talk about hockey, probably always talking about Canadians. And he's talking that, not that this guy, now he wanted this guy punished, this hockey player, okay? But he wanted the NHL to get fined $1 million a day until that guy was punished. But you got to catch the language. I want that guy punished. How am I going to go about doing that? Find his bosses. Make life miserable for his bosses, and then his bosses will have to get rid of him or punish him or force him to eat the pork, as I always like to say. Like in the Old Testament, when the king tried to make the brothers eat the pork, and they said, we will not do that. Okay, that's exactly what wearing a rainbow flag is. That's exactly what baking a cake is meant to do. It's supposed to show you who's in control, Joe Resinello. This woman, she is brave. She is brave. Don't worry, she'll be called a white supremacist too.
Well, again, I mean, not to get overtly religious, but that's what, what's the saying? It's better to, what's it called? Lose your soul, gain the whole world, but lose your soul. I mean, any person that has that type of mentality, say, then take it. Take it from me. Because I have something, I aspire to something higher. You see, sadly, not enough people do. And that's why they eat the pork. Because they're living for here. Ultimately, like I said, then take it. Because I'm not going to basically go against my belief system. I'm not going to do that. And too many Americans are willing to, because they don't have that anymore. We lost it.
Right.
We lost it. Many people, Joe. And again, this is not like, as much as the media is trying to make people think otherwise, Democrats are not for girls and boys mixing in sports. Democrats, hardcore Democrats. But again, circling back to what we just said on another conversation, they own enough circles of power where they don't care what you think anymore.
Right.
They control those circles of power, the government, Hollywood, corporate America, that the voice of the people don't matter anymore. I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
But people have to, again, we have to get back to first principles. And frankly, like I said, we have to take our government back. We have to take it back. And Joe, I'm going to say it again. The only way that's going to happen is a second American Revolution. They're never going to get, why do I say that? They're never going to give it back. It's never going to be.
I honestly don't believe it's going to be like, if it's a revolution, it's going to be a non-violent one. It's going to be a revolution in the culture, basically saying we're fed up with this, kind of like what happened in Poland against the Soviet Union. Again, you're talking about the most, arguably, in their 70 years of existence, one of the most, if not the most powerful 70 years that a nation could have had. Okay. Hammerlock on all of Eastern Europe, on obviously on Russia itself, exporting communism all over the world, all puppet regimes like Castro and others, okay? And yet it's still, you think about it, it bubbled over in Poland because people just at one point said, we don't care if we die. We don't care if we die. You're going to have to kill us all, but we're going to take you down too. But we're tired of it.
That's what they're afraid of, Joe. It's going to take a lot more. Like, it's going to take a lot more. You're starting to see that in Canada. 1 in 4 people go to food banks. Like, inflation is off the charts.
Right.
See, that's when you start inching closer.
I saw a guy arguing with you the other day. I was watching one of your Trudeau videos, and I think it was on Facebook or YouTube, where the guy was arguing with you. He was making points about how great Trudeau is. I'm thinking in my mind, what's in the water in Canada? This guy actually thinks Trudeau's doing a great job. He was actually calling you some very not so nice names, by the way.
I mean, 24% of the country still believes in Trudeau, as in they're going to vote for him. But what I would argue is those people don't have to go to the food bank. You see, that's the thing.
Right.
Like ultimately, it has to push society to a point, using India once again, where you're overtly a slave. And they push back. Poland, they were overtly, horribly oppressed, and they push back. And that is why the domestic terrorist threat, they know that, Joe.
Right.
And that is why that is their number one threat. Because you see, people disregard, like they always say, like, they're stupid. No, they're not.
Right.
They actually see it clearer than the people do. They're above the fog. The goal is to keep the fog between them and you. When you pop your head above the fog, that's when they're afraid. That's why they want to censor.
And you know who's popping their heads above the fog? We are. We are. And we're encouraging in our own small way here at the Frontline with Joe and Joe, encouraging people, pop your head above the fog and let them know you're looking at them. Let them know that you have the information you need. Let them call you a white supremacist, a domestic terrorist. You're a misinformation spreader. You're a denier, a climate denier, this, that, and the other thing. Let them say whatever they want. Let them say whatever they want. But they're going to know with everything they say, we got our eyes on them. And sooner or later, Joe, let me say something. And I pray to God that it doesn't come to a revolution nor a civil war. I just want the democratic process in America to play out the way it's supposed to, if you know where I'm going with that. Because I think if most people knew exactly what these people stood for, that means curtailing the media, okay? And the stranglehold that they have on information. I don't think these people will get elected door catcher. I don't think Gavin Newsom gets elected governor of California, if that was the case. I would agree with you.
But the thing is, again, they control too much of the centers of power. That's the only reason why I say it will take a revolution.
Well,
and power's not given. Joe, I agree with everything you said, but the system is broken. It's proven to be broken. It's broken because it's no longer. This is the misconception. I think we bicker too much, not us, as in the Democrats and the Republicans. That's a distraction. It's not a liberal versus conservative argument. That's what they want to distract. This is the real fight. It's the establishment versus the people. That is the real battle. They have a power grip hold on power, and they are not giving it to you, the people. When people figure that out, and it will probably again take an event, an unforeseeable event, they're finished.
Well, let's hope that happens. Thanks for joining us here at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Wherever you see us on social media, hit a button, like, subscribe, share, follow us on Twitter, do all that fun stuff. We'll see you soon.